In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the fill valve in your toilet tank. There could be a couple of different reasons why your fill valve might need replacing. One would be your toilet water is running constantly and it won't shut off, or it won't shut off all the way. Or the toilet flush is weak, or it won't flush at all sometimes. That's what was going on with this particular toilet. Or it could just take a long time for the tank to fill. No matter what the reason is, I'm going to show you how to replace that fill valve. This is a very easy job that probably won't take you much more than about 5 minutes or so. This video is going to run a little longer than 5 minutes because I'm explaining the tips and tricks as we go along the way. This is Rudy from the Home Improvement channel with another video showing you how to fix things around the house. If you're a subscribed member to my community, then welcome back. If you're new to my channel, consider clicking that subscribe button below. And if this video was helpful for you, consider clicking on that like button. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so this is a pretty easy job. You're going to want to start off with turning off your water. If you have an older shutoff valve like this one, you might experience a little drip. See out on my finger? When you move that, it doesn't like that. You can take a crescent wrench sometimes and tighten this nut right here, and you can seal that back up. This one's already been tightened, so it usually will stop leaking, and I'm hoping for the best on that. But if you do need to tighten that up, make sure you grab another wrench and put it here and back that up before you try to tighten this. Otherwise, you're going to be twisting on the pipe, and you don't want to do that. Before you can take the fill valve out, you're going to need to get the water out of the tank because you're going to have a big hole in the bottom of the tank and it's going to make a big mess. So the best way to do that is to flush this and hold it open until you can get as much water out of there as you can. Keep it open as long as you can. The best way to get the rest of that out is actually with a shop vac. I don't have one handy. And some of you may not have one either. So the second best way is to put towels in there and soak the water up. All right, I got the tank pretty empty. This may be a good time if your toilet every once in a while tries to fill itself up. You hear it, the valve come on and then it shuts off, in the middle of the night. It's probably because your flapper right here, the blue one, is leaking. And it leaks down just a little bit, and it has to fill up every once in a while. So these come off really easy. Usually there's just a snap right here, and you snap that off right there. But this one doesn't have that. You kind of have to take it and bring it around the ear like that, and then do the same thing to the other side. This toilet isn't having that problem. What's going on with this toilet is when you flush it, sometimes the water doesn't turn on. You have to take the lid off and kind of go like that to get it to come on. Also wanted to mention, if you wind up changing your flapper, the adjustment on the chain, I've seen some people put them tight like that, when the handle is in its relaxed position, the chain is already tight. That is not correct. Right now it's in its relaxed position, so you need just a little bit of slack right there. And also on these flappers, if you get one from Lowe's, make sure you look on your toilet here where it says the amount of liters per flush. Make sure you get the right flapper for that, because if you get an older style flapper and you use a newer style toilet, what's going to happen is when you flush the toilet, your toilet's going to flush like 2 times because you got the wrong flapper in there. So just wanted to throw that in there. Next thing you're going to want to do is unhook the hose. Obviously making sure the water's off with all the steps that I've done so far. You might have to push down on the fill valve on the inside of the tank to compress the rubber washer in the bottom, and that will make this nut just a little looser. Well, actually, I'm sorry. This is the water supply line, but when you do the other nut that's up here, pressing down on the fill valve will help that come loose better. If you have one of those hoses that's like an older hose that's made out of copper or plastic, it's kind of like a gray looking hose. Those things usually will leak when you put them back. So this is a newer braided line right here. I recommend, if you have one of those older style lines, to replace it, because it's probably going to leak on you, as this one's doing now, but obviously I've loosened it. So there's another tidbit there. Those are junk. I always have problems when those go back with leaks. So I don't even bother anymore. I just replace them. And right there, I didn't use any tools. I just pushed down on the valve, and that released that nut. Here's the new valve taken out of the box. This rubber washer goes in like that. Make sure you put this little indentation facing down, because that goes in the hole in the tank that's down there. And that's nothing there. This line right here, you may have to cut it, and you probably will have to cut it. And on this tank, it goes right here and there. But if your tank doesn't have that, then that comes with this little thing right here. And obviously, if you install that so that that hose is squirting to the outside, it's not going to work. So you have to put that to the inside, like so, and point it towards the valve. And it goes like that so that it fills to the inside. But I'm not going to need this part because my tank has this right here, and that's where the hose fits right in there. And when you install this hose, make sure that it's pointed directly at that fitting. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it here. It's not really that critical. That's a little too long still. Yeah, one thing I forgot to show was the height here, because these come adjusted short so they fit in the box. Just undo that ring right there and you can pull like that and make it longer. This the top of this right here should be about 3 inches or so above the water fill pipe, so that'll give you an idea right there of how tall that should be. It's really not that critical, but that's a guideline right there. And then when you're done adjusting it, put the don't forget to put that back. I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut back. Remember to keep that hose aligned with where it's supposed to go. This is a pretty easy job. It shouldn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes at the most. I think absorbing the water out of the tank is the longest part. Remember, push down on the valve when you're tightening this nut up, and that'll make that rubber squeeze in a little better. You might want to grab a hold of the valve when you tighten the hose down, the line, so that you're not turning it. There we go. And just turn the water back on. So it looks like it's already adjusted perfectly. Here's the water line right there, and it hit right on the mark. I actually didn't touch it, so there you go. But if yours is low, you'll have to adjust right here. And what that does is it changes the float. See that? When you adjust this, it moves that float up and down. So this one is actually marked plus or minus, so you can see. And this one here affects the amount of water that's in the bowl. So if I wanted more water in the bowl, flush it again. So that's about all there is to it. It's a really easy job. One thing I didn't mention, when you if you change your flapper while you're doing this job, make sure to take something and clean the surface of the flush valve right here. See right here? Clean that surface too before you put the new flapper in, and that'll make a little bit better of a seal. And one last thing I wanted to mention, if you've already tightened that packing nut on your shut-off valve and you still have a little bit of a drip coming out of there, give it a little bit of time and see if that stops leaking. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to replace that shut-off valve. It's a pain in the neck, and that's just the bad news there. All right, thanks for watching.